Alright, you guys, so I'm back on here. I wanted to say that me doing that fog video, it was kind of strange, you know, because realistically, it just caught me off guard because, like, I remember looking out the window before all the Thule fog came over, basically, and you know, because I remember looking out the window that day and it was completely sunny. Like there, you know, there were partly cloudy clouds in the sky, but it was clear. It was clear weather, basically. And I apologize. This video may be all over the place, but I just wanted to make this recording just to get out a few talking points because, yeah, I mean, that Thule fog really did catch me off guard because I didn't expect when I looked out the window that one evening that it would be that fog, that it would be that dense of a fog outside. Like I was not expecting that in the least. And when I did look outside the window, I'm like, what the heck, you know? I'm like, what the heck is this weather? But this isn't really the topic I wanted to talk about in this video. I want to talk about if gamer girls are way different from normie girls, because to be honest, when I was younger, I somewhat had this addiction to video games, and I guess while I was a young girl, you know, there were a whole bunch of video games coming out back then, and I did become addicted to them, but in a way, I did find some kind of joy. I found some kind of like inner peace within these video games that were coming out. Like say in the early to late 90's, like there were a whole bunch of video console games that were coming out around that time. And I remember as a young girl, I used to play we used to play all kinds of video games. Like all kinds. Like there were the RPGs. And I think this was really before like the online games for PC like really, really took off. This was before, I'm thinking this was before the online gaming on the PCs really took off, because there was the PlayStation 1, you know, and my parents, I think it's my dad, he bought the first PlayStation 1, I think when I was like 3 or 4 years old or something like that. And I'm 38 now, so I can't really do the hard math on that right now, but anyways, yeah, I mean, there were a lot of games. There were a lot of video games that came out back then. And I remember I remember like just wanting to like buy all of these PlayStation 1 games and these PlayStation 2 games and even PlayStation 3 games. Like there was just so many games. Like, and now that I think about it, it was nearly impossible not to get addicted to playing these video games. Like, I'm serious. Like, it was nearly impossible not to be addicted to video games, because I think in the early to late 90s, 2000s, early 2000s, like, these video games just kept popping out. And it's just, and you look at now, it's like there's barely any video games coming out now. Like, barely. Like, not even half as much as what it was back then. So, in a way, I did find a spiritual love, this strong spiritual love for, like, these video games and, like, these movies that came out. And and as a millennial person, like, it's supposed to stay with you, because you remember back then, it's like those were the good times, those were the good times that you can actually remember. And and yeah, it's actually really crazy to think about, because for the women who actually play video games now, it's like deep down they don't really have a true, like, soul felt love for video games. Like, they don't. And and most of these women who claim they do play video games, like, they're on Twitch and stuff, and, like, they're showing their like, they're showing their top side and everything. It's like, well, it's like, do you really have the love for these games, though? Or do you just want to... Are you just on these social media platforms playing games just because you want attention? That's the difference between, I mean, there's not many of us now, but there are these really cool, like, ride or die, like, gamer chicks that actually do have a love and a passion to play these games, but it's not so much anymore. You know what I mean? It's it's not so much anymore. And it really is sad. Where all the passion went. There is no passion. There's no passion. There's no heartfelt, like, nostalgia, like, for these games anymore. It's just, everything's just gotten really stale, and it's not like how it was, And these are natural thoughts for millennial people to think, because I mean, video games is basically, like, all we had, It really is. Video games and movies and certain TV shows is all we had, growing up. And they made you feel a certain type of way. It made you feel like, oh yeah, well, this life isn't so bad, Because these video games, these shows, and these movies, like, we just thought, wow, like, this is the kind of stuff that really keeps me going, Because these kinds of things actually had substance. They actually had some kind of, like, meaningful, like, heartfelt passion, like, purpose back then. Now it's like you can barely even find it anymore with these things. And it really is heartbreaking. It really is unfortunate that we have to, as adults, we have to kind of go through this boring, stale life now. It's just freaking crazy. You know, because as a younger person, it's like you don't remember it that way. You don't remember it that way how it is now, because it was different. You know, it felt more real, basically. So, I don't know. I've always been a lover of these video games and stuff, because I noticed that other people who had made these video games put their heart and soul into these video games, and I noticed that, you know. So, what these creators and what these developers were feeling back then in the late 90s to early 90s, you know, they put all their time into making this game. They put all their time into making a game that they thought that others would feel the same way about, you know, when they were playing it, you know, and it had some type of meaning to it, you know. But video games now, yeah, you could forget about it. You could forget about that. Yeah. Okay, I guess that's all I wanted to say. You guys can leave a comment, or please leave a like or whatever on the video. I'd appreciate that if you guys like listening to this video. Alright, that's all I have for now, and catch you in the next one next time. Alright, have a good day. Bye.